Okay, so in the past 24 hours, approximately nothing has occurred. So Echo basically today woke up, did a bunch of splits, did weekly chores, caught up on their campaign, did the things that they needed to do in preparation for the next reset. I think they did some walkthroughs on like Heroic Jailer and stuff like that, talked through different strategy decisions last night. Liquid today has had the reset, however.
Yeah, so last night when we recorded this, they were on 78% in Mythic Jailer. They've taken another couple percentage points off of the boss, but mostly what's been going on has been that reclear. Liquid have taken out all 10 farm bosses of their reclear, and they're now doing, as of the time of this recording, they're taking care of some business in Heroic and that kind of stuff. I suspect that we will see them on Mythic Jailer progression before the end of their day. I think they will get some done on this first day of the reset.
Why didn't Echo pull Jailer today?
Well, so
Mythic.
Echo was in a bit of an interesting spot where, first of all, they still had some chores to take care of that would make their characters more powerful.
Okay.
And second of all, any progression that they did could be seen by Liquid as well, while Liquid was busy doing this useful reclear. And that strategy, any mechanics that Echo got to, Liquid would be able to basically get the benefits of getting there themselves while also reclearing. So it was a little bit of it was still better than doing nothing, but there was other stuff that was even better than doing nothing that Echo decided to do, which was fill up those 9 vaults basically across their raiding roster.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It does seem kind of weird to see them being on the Jailer and then just kind of like losing ground. Both Liquid and Echo are heavily progressing phase 1 right now. So you'll see the percentage is like 72 or 76, and it's like, okay, yes, these guilds are getting close to phase 2, and in Echo's case, I know that they have seen phase 3, but Azeroth is not being healed to full.
Right. This is one of those boss fights where you can kind of push it early, but it's not good, but you can.
And I think that there's something with the Blood of Azeroth puddles where if you don't soak them all, then they just like give the boss a massive shield.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so this boss is 76% with a 900k shield or something.
900% health
900%
shield.
health shield. Yeah. So,
It's,
so just massive fucking health shield. And it's like, okay, so they did see phase 3, but the boss was basically 100% health.
Yeah, it kind of gives me some Fallen Avatar vibes where it's like, hey, if you really want to progress the later phases, you know, you kind of can force going to them early if you want.
Yeah, by letting the Shattering throw and stuff like that.
Right, exactly. So,
okay, so that's what happened with basically Echo today, nothing. Liquid has finished their Mythic Reclear at the time of recording this. Now they're just doing a decent number of Heroic splits to try to gear up their characters. I heard rumors that they had some issues with reputation for the...
Yeah, so both guilds are missing some players to have Unity. I think it's slightly worse for Liquid than it is for Echo on that front.
I heard it was like half their roster.
I think it's better than half their roster.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was hyperbolic.
This is just like obviously hearsay rumors.
Yeah. Either way, I mean, you can just look through the armories and see who's wearing a 265 belt and who's wearing a 291 Unity power somewhere, which I know the Echo people were talking about this. One of the Echo analysts was saying like, oh yeah, I told them all they didn't have to do rep. And then it became clear a couple days ago that like it was going to the third reset. So we went and checked, and only like 4 of them didn't have the rep ready or weren't in range to have it ready in time, which is crazy. Yeah.
Well, I mean, dude, do you remember in Sanctum of Domination?
Yeah.
There were people that just I was slacking on my rep a little bit, and these guys did not care about Korthia rep, and there was like 10 of the Liquid people that just...
They did it, even though there was a really good chance the race would not make it to any Korthia power. They were doing every relic gatherer every day. They were, it's crazy. You can take the player out of the grind, but you can't take the grind out of the player.
Anyway, so yeah, basically that ends. That kind of concludes Liquid's Reclear. We've seen a lot of complaints about the Jailer Mythic.
Yes.
It's kind of getting compared to Queen Ashara in regards to like the beckon cast from Queen Ashara where that would mind control players. And then in addition to that, there's also complaints about line of sight issues.
Yeah, so the boss fight, particularly phase 1, is all about these pillars coming up from these hexagons in the room. And they're quite fiddly with line of sight. You're going to line most of your raid on a lot of those whenever they're up. You're going to line the boss fairly often. It's pretty frustrating to play even on heroic difficulty, that phase of the encounter. On Mythic, my best hope is that the later phases are chill about it, because, yeah, phase 1 does look a little bit rough from that angle.
From the casting perspective, it definitely makes sense as to why it's annoying. It does look like at least the pacing of that fight isn't bad, whereas we've seen a lot of fights we saw a lot of fights in BFA, like in bosses in BFA, that their pacing, especially for phase 1, it was just always awful and it didn't matter.
Oh yeah, dude, N'Zoth fight tentacles for 6 minutes, Cahoon fight tentacles for 3 minutes, Ajara fight lieutenants for 2 minutes. All of them was
I don't think we have that situation. Yeah. I think that they are definitely I do think the criticism of like the beckon, like 5 people get MC'd style mechanic, and then the line of sight issues, I think that those are valid though.
Yeah, in particular, I think hostile line of sight type stuff, like, I don't know, I mean, I think hiding behind pillars to avoid getting mind controlled is kind of cool. I think they can do stuff with that sort of mechanic. I think even on Mythic they could make each pillar only have like a limit, like you'd have to split among the pillars, right? And do that kind of, like, I'm down with that part of the encounter being important, lining the jailer. But I think the part where it's like, oh, but you can't hit the jailer, your pets can't hit the jailer, you can't target other players. Like, I wonder if they could come up with a version of line of sight that was literally just for the mechanic and not for the, like, my spells don't work, my pets are running around and not casting type stuff.
There's also the lining of the MC, and then there's also the bombs and holes.
Right, the bomb jumping into hole mechanic is also one that has been a bit annoying for a lot of the raiders, especially anybody who doesn't have, like, a blink. Because if you have a blink, you know, you get knocked back out, you hit your blink, and you're vibing again. If you don't have a blink, you're spending 3 globals airborne every single time you're jumping down there.
I've seen people get launched into another hole.
Yeah, you gotta watch out for that. That is skill testing, is don't aim your back towards another hexagon. Make sure you're getting launched in a different direction, but it is still a frustrating way for it to go at least once.
All right, but yeah, no, I've seen those complaints about the jailer. I think it's too early for me to say, like, how I really feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the kind of thing where I think anybody who complains too much about a fight before they've progressed it themselves is just parroting. Like, at best, they're parroting somebody else's good opinion.
I'm parroting. Like, I'm not parroting. I'm just stating that this is what has been early complaints of the fight. And in all honesty, they haven't finished the fight, so it's undetermined if the fight is going to be. Like, if it has like a banger phase 2 and a banger phase 3, the fight just may be good.
Right. That's the most important part of fights, is the later phases generally. That being said, a fight can't be an all-time great if it's got some stinker phases, which...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, we talked about this yesterday, about the race ending and the impending double legendary. I think I got bad news. I don't think there's any way that this boss dies by Thursday.
By Thursday? I think it could very well die by Thursday.
I think it could, but, like...
I mean, Liquid are going to be pulling this boss for 50 hours between now and then. You don't think that 50 hours of Liquid with double Legos has a solid chance of killing any boss?
Thursday is... They'll have, what, like 200 pulls done by Thursday, maybe?
Probably more.
Maybe.
I would not bet that this boss survives past Thursday. I think Thursday is the most likely day for it to die still.
Yeah, okay. We'll see.
If not Thursday, maybe Friday.
I think that Friday is...
As long as we avoid the Wednesday or Tuesday death dates, which I think Tuesday is probably out of the possibilities, given
0%.
Given there's still splits and stuff to be run, but...
Wednesday, very low.
Yeah, I still think Thursday is the most likely day, but again... This is all speculation, and a huge part of this is going to depend on, like, how hard's phase 2, how hard's phase 3, how much is the DPS check. Is there a mythic phase? Any mythic phase?
I think there will be a mythic phase.
Yeah, historically, this is the kind of boss that gets a mythic phase, right? If it's only, 8 minutes or something, 9 minutes, right?
End bosses of expansions have also historically had mythic phases. So Archimond had one. Unot had one. Okay, lackluster.
Wait, N'Zoth.
N'Zoth, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, Argus didn't, but it had the red scythe variation on the heroic phase.
It was also a lot. Okay, so they also removed phase 2 of Argus, and then they kind of reworked how phase 3 interacted with the fight, and so it was
kind of a mythic phase. Yeah,
it was a lot different of a phase. I don't necessarily believe it's like a mythic phase, but it was a lot different.
Yeah, so far it kind of seems like Jailer is literally just like the really tough Blood of Ajara mechanic on all phases, and then otherwise not too much different. So
man, the problem is, like, heroic and normal Jailer feels like it's missing something.
Yeah,
but it's like I don't know what it's missing exactly, and it's sure as hell not that Blood of Azeroth.
The Blood of Azeroth mechanic, yeah, for those who haven't watched any Jailer prog, there are these puddles that you have to, like, form a chain of players between the puddle and the middle of the room and then somebody walks in and it just, like, auto jumps to the middle of the room.
And so then it gives health to the Azeroth in the middle of the room, which makes it survive, like, Jailer smacking it every so often.
Yeah.
And it increases, like, the pacing of how you're supposed to, like, position yourself around the room, how you're supposed to do the mechanics. But that doesn't feel like, to me, it's making the fight more complete.
Yeah, it's
So it
interesting as well.
still feels like it's missing something.
It is kind of cool that it's like overlaid with every mechanic, as you're always under pressure from doing the next blood. But I agree, it'll be really interesting to see what it looks like when the guilds actually are figuring out strategies that can kill the boss. Because right now, I think we still haven't really seen those sorts of tactics and strategies that are actually designed to get the kill yet.
And I think also Echo not pulling it today was like, they don't want to show anything.
They don't want to show anything. They don't want to do this prog with the single Lego and double Legos right around the corner. It's a tough spot to be in, because I think that really what they would have loved to do is just turn off the streams and pull it off stream for a day, but, don't want to do that, right?
That's also sucky. I don't know. There's no winning here, I don't think.
It's definitely a tough spot to be in, for sure, but either way, this was probably the last non-action-packed day in the race to World First. From here on out, it's going to be a mad dash to getting the Jailer dead as soon as humanly possible, because Liquid and Echo both know that the other guild is going to be doing it super soon.
I do think that Echo's going to do some splits tomorrow after the reset, but it's not going to be that many. Same with, like, Liquid is doing some, but it's not going to be a ton.
And then we've got two more guild. SK Pieces and Skyline have both added Lords of Dread to their body count this week. So they're advancing to 9 bosses on the second reset.
I think that they could get Rygalon pretty early next reset.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's particularly in the cards for this reset for either guild. Of course, SK Pieces, as of the time of recording this, they're in bed waiting for third reset to start. So that is over. Skyline does have another day on it if they want, but I suspect that they will be leaving Rygalon for a double legendary moment.
I think they have like another 12 hours.
Yeah, they have basically another full rating day if they wanted on it.
All right.
So they could do it.
Well, I think that's going to be it for us. Like you said, there wasn't a ton to talk about today. I think that we're really going to start hitting the very end of the raid here. And the next couple of days, we're going to see a lot of Jailer progression. We're going to have some clips talking about some specific moments of the raid.
The two guilds, Liquid and Echo, have been jockeying for position. There's been these like slightly better plays on certain bosses, but it is really all going to come down to who can do better on Jailer progression. This is going to be something is going to separate these two guilds at some point over the next couple of days, and we'll get to see who walks on World First, who takes World Second.
There's a chance that Liquid kills Jailer by like 2 hours or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, you mean like 2 hours faster than Echo?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if that happens on Wednesday, that'll be kind of scuffed. It happens on Thursday or later.
I think it'll happen on maybe Thursday or Friday, but we'll see.
Yeah. Then we could be right down to the wire on this race to World First.
Anyways, all right, we'll be back tomorrow. Goodbye.